This is the first video in a series, Bootcamp Trench Crusade, where we go through all the rules, how to make a warband, how to play a campaign, all of it. This first video is movement actions. And keep this in mind, actions, always 2 dice. Rolling them and getting 7 or more is a success. If you have less, it's a failure and the action doesn't happen. A risky action, however, means if you fail, the activation for that model is over and it's your opponent's turn. To begin with, to play Trench Crusade you need a few things. You need a tape measure. You need some dice, preferably in 3 different colors, to mark out blood markers, blessing markers, and just to roll them normally. Of course, you also need some miniatures, and this is a miniature agnostic game, so you can use whatever miniatures you want, preferably on the right base size, but to be honest with you, it doesn't matter that much either. You can base them on squares if you like, and as long as you and your friends are okay with it. To move a miniature, you have to look up at its movement characteristics, and all of them have different. Let's say that this trooper has 6 inches. We'll measure it out. Touch the base with a tape measure and move the base, you see this side of the base, up to 6 inches at the end, like so. When you move, it is not like Fantasy Battle. You can move however you want. You can move 4 inches that way, and then you can move 2 inches that way, like so. Another type of move is the retreat move, and this you can only do if you are within 1 inch of an enemy and you are in combat. And to retreat, you don't have to roll, you just measure your movement of the model and go directly away the full length possible. However, when you retreat, the enemy model will get to hit you in the back for free once, and if you are downed or out of action by this, the move does not happen as you fall to the ground instead. To charge, you must first pick an enemy unit which you have line of sight to. This is important. You cannot charge anything you do not have line of sight to. Earlier, the rule said that if you charge something without line of sight, it was a risky action, but that's not possible anymore with the new official rules. So, to charge, you use the movement plus a dice. So 6 plus 3 is 9. And we can measure. Yeah, we got in. So you move up to 9 within 1 inch of the enemy model to be in combat. However, let's say that we could not make it. We only have a movement of 1 and rolled a 3. So we have 4 inches here. You must go the closest way possible full length. So only 4 inches straight forward. If there for some reason is dangerous terrain in the way between you and your target, you can go around it, as long as you have the full length to do it. Otherwise, you must pass through. Same goes for difficult terrain. In this example, the Great Sword wants to charge the Hell Knight, and he must take the shortest route possible to do so. But the big desecrated angel here, the desecrated saint, is in the way, so he passes within 1 inch of him. That means that he has to charge the saint instead. So you must choose, do you want to charge the saint, or do you not want to charge at all? It's not allowed to charge like this and this to avoid it. You must take the shortest way possible. While we're on the subject of charging, I want to talk about the diving charge. You can do this against enemy models that are 3 inches below it. And if you succeed, you get +1 dice on your attacks. We will talk more about this in the fighting video. Unless your model was taken out of action or downed while falling. So this model is at least 3 inches away from it. When falling from such a height, 3 inches or more, you have to look in the injury table and see if you got hurt. If you did not get hurt, you only got a blood marker or something, then you can fight with +1 dice. There is another type of movement which is called a dash. And this is very, very important in Trench Crusade and one of the key maneuvers to win a game. You can either move, charge, or retreat. That's one action. There are other actions which you can do once, like shoot, fight, and dash. Dash is a risky action, so you have to roll 2 dice. Get 7, which I did now, 6, 2, 8. If you pass by having 7 or more, you can move again, which is very good. But if you fail, this model's activation is over. So if you start your turn by I'm gonna dash, and you for some reason don't roll as well as I do, you only get a 6. His turn is over, he cannot move, he cannot shoot, he cannot do anything because you dashed in the beginning. So choose your moment to dash carefully. Maybe you want to move, shoot, and then dash back, or you want to dash and then charge to get extra long. There are many different tactical choices to be made here. Let's talk about climbing. This knight wants to climb up this tower. To do so, he could either use stairs, but if there are no stairs and it's a sheer surface, you must be able to reach the top. You cannot climb only and quit halfway, because then you would fall down. So, to finish it, you have to be able to reach the top with your movement. You must pass a risky success roll to finish it. If it is a success, you can move it up and stand at the top end. If it's a failure, the move activation is ended. As part of a move or a charge, you can jump between obstacles. Let us say that I want to jump through here. It's okay, because it's not more than half of its movement. It has a movement of 6, so the gap cannot be more than 3 inches long. So let's see if we pass the risky success to see if we can do the jump. Oh no, it was a failure, which means he falls down from the gap. Oh! When jumping down from something, you don't have to measure the entire way like so, because it would be very long. It's okay by measuring like so. So 3 inches to reach the other side. Great. We can pass it. Boop. But if he jumped more than 3 inches, he has to take an injury roll to see if he hurt his ankle or something. Or he landed on his head maybe and broke it and died. You never know in Trench Crusade what happens with your models when they jump for dangerous feats. When falling from a great height, 3 inches or more, you have to roll on the injury table, as I said. But for each 3 inches that you add on top of the original 3-inch height, you get another +1 dice to the injury table. This is not good for you, because it's more likely that you hurt yourself real bad. However, if you want to jump up something, then you have to measure the amount of inches towards the ledge. So this is an impossible jump because he only has 6 inches, and 4 inches up is more than half. So he will not be able to make this jump. But perhaps an assassin or something with 8 movement would be able to do. So I started blasting. Some models have the keyword fly. They treat dangerous terrain, difficult terrain, as open terrain and do not have to make any tests. And they also do not care about jumping. They just, fly. There are several different types of terrain. One of them are trenches, of course. And these trenches are just a little less than 3 inches high, which means by core rules you can walk them up and down through the ledges without any problems. If they are, however, 3 inches or higher, they are not free movement and you have to risky action test as per climbing a sheer surface. Jumping over obstacles that are 1 inch or less is no problem and won't hinder you in any way. Shoo. Moving through difficult terrain will halve your movement. Moving through dangerous terrain means you have to take a risky action test, and if you fail it, you will have to look on the injury chart to see what happened and the activation is ended. If you pass, however, you snuck around the dirty bog to the other side. One question that gets brought up a lot is, how do we handle the large base models? For example, can this saint climb over this bridge? The answer is yes, as long as half or more the size of the base fits on the thing, it can be there, which it very neatly does. Hope you learned something and hope you like Trench Crusade. You can watch my earlier videos about Trench Crusade, I have like 40 of them. Or you can subscribe to the channel and stick around. In the future there will be a lot more coming. Not only the rules, but also painting, models, news. See you, peace be with you, build me.